Hi, I'm JMO from Xcase in the UK, www.xcase.co.uk. Please take a look at the website. Now today I'm going to look at a 1U chassis. It's the latest version of our popular 1U for hotswap case called the RM140. It's had a few little changes, so it's worth me doing another video. So, as before, it's still got the four front hotswap caddies. Now these are the latest version, which are far better than the old ones. Simple click and they're out. As before, each of the caddies got two lights on it. Don't know if you can see them, but there's two here. The top one glows constantly, it's a power one, and the one below is an activity one, so that just flashes away when the drives are in use. The chassis also got space for a slim CD-ROM, which goes in here. And we've now fitted it with these two brackets, which can be used for 2.5-inch drives or SSD drives. So they basically just screw from below. Just have to be a little bit careful on the height. Most 2.5-inch drives are 9.5mm high, but I know there are some larger SAS ones and they can be a little bit tight because of the height. As before, we've got these 6 central 40mm fans. They're on rubber grommets, very easy to get in and out. And they push plenty of airflow through to the back of the chassis where your motherboard would be. On the front here we've got two USBs now, and still the push button on off reset, power light, hard drive light, LAN lights, and a warning light. The chassis itself is 650mm deep. Needs to be this depth for extended motherboards, 12 or 13 dual processor boards. But it'll also take standard ATX boards, micro ATX, or even ITX. Being a 1U, it needs to be a 1U type power supply. However, we have noticed recently we're selling a lot of Seasonic's 250 SU. It's a very good little power supply with a 24+8 pin connection. And so, although it's 1U in size, it's a little bit, you need a bracket to fit it, so we now include this bracket free of charge for the Seasonic 250 SU. Now, the caddies themselves, they connect to a backplane. There's the backplane. Backplane's held in by 3 thumb screws, so it's very easy to get out if you have a problem with it. You've got 2 Molex connections to power it. The second one's redundant, so you only actually need the one to power up, but for safety you can use 2 of 2 rails. Now the backplane now comes with a single mini SAS port, A quick mention on mini SAS. Some people get confused and think it's just got to be SAS drives, but a mini SAS port will take standard SATA drives, SATA 1, 2s and 3s, or SAS drives, or indeed SSD drives. Now, being a mini SAS port, you only actually need one cable from the backplane to control the 4 drives, and generally the other end of that cable would connect to a RAID card, as shown here, which would control the 4 drives. Now, if you're going to use the connections from your motherboard, say 4 SATA ports, SATA 2 ports, etc., there is a different cable. It's called a reverse breakout cable, and at the end here it just splits into 4 SATA ports. They're on our website anyway, reverse breakout cable. Now you've got a 1 expansion port. So obviously if you need to fit something like a RAID card, then you've got the space to do it, or a second LAN card or something of that description. It comes now included with these really good set of aluminium rails. These are an absolute joy to work with compared with some rails I've used. Very, very easy to use, and as I said, included in the price, which is pretty good because a lot of companies charge you £30 for a set of rails. I think the only other thing to mention is people ask for instructions, which I often think you don't really need them because there's not much to it. But they get confused about the brackets included. So you've got these 2 brackets which confuse everybody. Now these are really just CPU cooler retention brackets for really old motherboards, dual processor boards, and probably a complete waste of time for what you're using, but we include them anyway. We've got this bracket here, which is, as I said already, is for the Seasonic 250 SU. And you've got these brackets here. Now basically these fit to the back of a 1U power supply, and then this bracket screws into the base of the chassis and then holds here to keep the rear of the power supply secure. This one, fairly obvious really, it's just a spanner if you need to move any of the standoffs out of the way to a different position. So there you have it, the latest version of the X-Case RM140. It will be the version you get until this video changes. It's the same reasonable price, but better. Thanks for listening.